In an average city like Columbus with moderate industry, the average usage of water is 100 gallons per person per day. Did you ever wonder where all that water goes? Depending on where you live, it probably comes here to the Southerly Wastewater Treatment Plant. Our facility serves the greater metropolitan area east of the river and the Grove City area. During this film, we'll explain how the plant works and treats all that wastewater. The plant is split between the wet stream and the solids handling. First, we'll have a discussion about the wet stream. After leaving your house and traveling through miles of underground sewers, the wastewater enters southerly at the screen building at more than 3 cubic feet per second. Large mechanical rakes remove any objects too large to fit through the screens. This water coming in is 99.9% pure water. We treat and remove that 0.1%. After screening, we reduce the flow to between 1 and 3 cubic feet per second in the grit tanks. This allows the heavy inorganic sand and grit to settle to the bottom of the tank. Large chains with metal flights attached scrape this grit off the bottom for disposal. The grit tanks are located 3 stories below ground. In order to lift all that water up so that it can flow downhill to the rest of the plant, large raw sewage pumps are used. The impellers for these pumps are located below the water level of the grit tanks. They pump the water up to the splitter box, where the flow is divided between the west, center, and east aeration trays. By controlling the flow at the splitter box, we can control the loadings on different parts of the plant. After the splitter, the flow enters the primary settling tanks. Here we reduce the flow to less than 1 cubic foot per second. This allows all of the settleable solids to sink to the bottom of the tank, where they are collected for further processing. This is called raw sludge, and we'll get back to it in a little bit. Any fats, oils, or greases that float are skimmed off the tank for later disposal. The rest of the flow still has suspended solids in it. Many of these solids either won't settle or are dissolved in the water like sugar or salt. For these solids, we treat the flow with our aeration section. We have 16 aeration tanks, each with a capacity of 2.5 million gallons. Each tank is divided into 3 sections. In the first section, the flow from the primaries is mixed with seed bacteria without the presence of dissolved oxygen. Soluble carbonaceous biochemical oxygen demand is removed in this process. Next is the anoxic zone, where only bound oxygen is present in compounds such as nitrate. Here, nitrate is converted to nitrite. Finally, the flow enters the aerobic zone, where fine bubble diffusers provide adequate mixing for the bacteria to metabolize all of the remaining suspended solids, and enough oxygen for the microbes to survive. This is the largest zone in the aeration tank. The flow is now called mixed liquor. To provide enough oxygen for the microbes, we have 14 high-capacity blowers that can each deliver 20,000 cubic feet per minute of air to the tanks. In the final settling clarifiers, the mixed liquor enters in the center of the tank. Large paddles make sure the solution is adequately mixed. The flow and the microbes radiate towards the outer weir. The bacteria form colonies by clinging to one another in a process called flocculation. As the colony grows in size, it becomes heavier than the water and sinks to the bottom of the tank. Large scrapers along the bottom collect the sludge blanket of bacteria. Any remaining floating material is skimmed off the top. The activated sludge is collected in the return well. Large return activated sludge pumps are used to return the microbes to the aeration tank, where they are used as seed for more primary effluent. Excess sludge is sent to the solids handling part of the plant for processing. This is called waste-activated sludge. The flow has now been cleaned of its suspended solids, biochemical oxygen demand, and ammonia. However, some pathogenic material may still exist in the wet stream. So during the summer months, we disinfect the water with hypochlorite in the contact basin. However, we don't want too much chlorine to be placed in the river, so we dechlorinate the flow after disinfection with sodium bisulfite. Our end product is clean water flowing into the Cider River. Let's continue our discussion with how we process the solids for final disposal. The raw sludge from the primaries is sent here to the gravity thickeners. The sludge settles further and more of the water is removed. In much the same manner, the waste activated sludge is piped to the concentrator, where it also settles further. Our aim is to remove as much water as possible. After the concentrator, the waste activated sludge is sent to the 95,000 centrifuges. These large machines spin the sludge at very high speeds, concentrating the solids and removing more water. The raw and waste activated sludges both are now at about 6% solids. With our newest centrifuges, the waste activated and raw sludges are mixed together with polymer and centrifuged again. The end product is about 30% solids and is called sludge cake. Southerly has two 8-hearth furnaces to incinerate the sludge. Temperatures inside the incinerator reach about 1300 degrees Fahrenheit. Long arms extending out from the center shaft have teeth attached to rake and turn over the embers and gradually beat them down from one hearth to another until combustion is complete. 70 to 85% of the material in the sludge is combustible. The rest is inert and won't burn. This is known as ash. The ash is removed by using the plant effluent water to carry the ash to one of two ash lagoons. Here, the ash settles to the bottom and the water flows onto the river. The rest of the sludge cake from the centrifuges is sent to the new sludge silos. These silos give us the flexibility to store the sludge cake for a short time. The sludge is transported by semi-tractor trailers to either the landfill or the southwesterly compost facility. At the compost facility, the sludge is mixed with wood chips and dried to make a composted fertilizer product called Comtil. Comtil works great on flower beds and lawns. Many commercial customers purchase Comtil in bulk on a daily basis. Finally, you can rest assured that we at Southerly are doing all we can to serve the citizens of the greater Columbus metropolitan area, protect the environment and everyone south of us, because in the end, we all live downstream.